For expert advice and consultancy on lifts and escalators, trust Horgan's Lifts and Escalator Consultants, based in Mungret. Providing reliable, professional service you can depend on. Call 086 260 4317 or email john@horgans.net. Horgan's Lifts and Escalator Consultants, lifting standards higher.
For over 50 years, PFL Floor Coverings has Ireland's one-stop shop for all your flooring needs. From carpets to vinyl and laminate, we're proud to be the exclusive suppliers of Cortec floors in Ireland. Call our Limerick HQ on 061 227 100. PFL Floor Coverings, quality you can stand on.
At Holgan Dowling McNamara Solicitors Limerick, we take a hands-on, partner-led approach, delivering expert, transparent and cost-effective legal solutions. Call 061 501 100 or email info@hdm.ie. HDM Solicitors. Legally speaking, we're different.
Good afternoon, and you're very welcome to Clorina for this afternoon's Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship clash. It is wet and windy here on the N69 for this championship quarter-final between Mungret St. Paul's and Monaleen. It is a city derby. We'll be coming with team news very shortly. My own name is Tom Clancy, and I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by former Limerick footballer Tommy Stack for this one. Tommy, my umbrella nearly took flight there. These conditions are going to have a huge bearing in this afternoon's contest.
They will indeed. Look, it's not going to be easy out there. I think the team that keeps it nice and simple today, gets the ball through their hands, without taking the ball into a whole pile of contact, will do well today. This is a battle between two huge clubs, two huge city clubs, and they really have aspirations of getting better than just to the knockout stages. They'll be looking to get to finals. It's quite a few years since Mungret have contested a final. Monaleen's been 2016, so I know both clubs have really good momentum coming into this week, so hopefully we get a nice game.
Yeah, these two sides free scoring early in the group, but if you're leaning into the conditions, every score is going to be very, very important today. We could see 2 pointers down to our left there because the wind is blowing basically over my shoulder in your direction there. It's going to be very important that they mind that ball, and maybe that there isn't a wasted opportunities here with that wind.
I would agree, and it's also a great opportunity for when you get your one-on-one opportunities, that it's very easy to wrong-footed defender today, and I think you got those one-on-one opportunities, you have to take them, whether that's outside the D or inside the D, and hopefully we'll get a few nice diagonal long balls too that might create a bit of carnage inside in the square. Looking forward to a few goals as well, because both sides can score heavily in the goals department.
Yeah, we'll look at the full teams in a moment. There is one breaking bit of news that John Hutton is actually out for Mungret. Dara O'Hagan, though, thankfully for Mungret, comes in his place. A huge loss, though, to be missing their talisman and captain John Hutton.
Huge free taking, just generally captaincy, leadership, gets on the ball, makes it happen. Yeah, he's a huge loss, but O'Hagan coming in, no loss there. Like, we know he's going to get on plenty of raw ball out there around the middle third and get them rolling.
Okay, we'll have a look at the full team news shortly. We'll be coming back with that in just a few moments. Do stay tuned. We'll just stay tucked in from the wind as well. Okay, you're very welcome back to Clorina. It's continuing to be wet and windy here. We'll just take a look at the teams for this Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship quarter-final. And we will start with Mungret St. Paul's, who made the very short trip back the N69 here to Ballybrown GA, and they line up with Limerick senior panellist Ronan McElligott in goals, a full back line of Jason Hassett, Rob Hegarty and Kieran Uwatsi. The half back line sees Frank Corcoran, join Oisin Moss and James Garvey. At midfield are Killian Ryan and Jack McCarthy. The half forward line sees the exciting talent Diarmuid Hines, and he's joined by Darrell Sullivan and James Killian. Shane Barry is at number 13, while Brendan Giltanan nines out at 15. Missing from the starting lineup is John Hutton, who carries a knock, and in his place comes Limerick senior panellist Dara O'Hagan. The Mungret St. Paul's team is managed by Kevin O'Hagan and coached by Pa Ranahan. We look now at Monaleen, who line up in their white change strip. Both sides, of course, as you will have noticed, have changed their colours for this afternoon's contest. And the Monaleen side sees Dermot Deneen in goals. Conor Carew, Ger Clancy and Andrew Carney are the full back line. Peter Hempenstall, Dara Kennedy and Padraig Quinn are listed at 5, 6 and 7. Niall Loughran and Stephen Kiley are the midfield pairing. Conal O'Dinn Taig O'Shukru and Luke Murphy are the exciting looking half-forward line. Inside sees Alan Nicholas, Donico O'Dollig and Jack Kenny. And just a note, at the moment, that is the lineup that we have received from Monaleen. No changes given to us here presently, but we may expect a change or two. Tommy, we were looking closely at the warm-ups, trying to find a nugget or two for our viewers and those tuning in. Darragh O'Hagan, we probably know him as a midfielder, but perhaps from what pieces we saw in the warm-up, looks like he might line up at full forward.
Yeah, wouldn't have played a huge amount of football recently, but from what we saw, he took that position inside in the full forward line in the situational games that they played in the warm-up, and he'd be such a brilliant target man. Obviously, if they were to play into the wind, I'm not sure he'd still take up that position. He might go in for the initial throw-in, but at the same time, if he was to be in that position in full forward line, can you imagine the threat? Can you imagine the amount of diagonal ball that you could play into him and the breaks that would come off him? It's just a very interesting wrinkle for them. Obviously, John Hutton is a huge loss, but Darragh O'Hagan is a huge plus, so you think it kind of levels out. On the other side, then Monaleen, we don't have the full information yet. I guarantee you there's going to be changes, but they just haven't been given to us yet. Looking forward to it. There's a couple of guys I'd like to pay just a quick tribute there. Jason Hassett and Kieran Owatse, the two cornerbacks from Mungret, and Conor Carew and Andrew Kearney. They've all had brilliant campaigns so far. It isn't the fanciest position to play at the moment in the cornerback position because of so much of the focus being on forward play and one-on-ones and taking advantage of one-on-ones, but those are four guys that have really shone in the championship so far, and let's hope they can give that same account again today.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the final preliminaries to take place. We probably have had the toss. We just missed which way it's gone, but it looks to me as if Mungret will attack will play from left to right and will play with the aid of the breeze in this opening half. The referee for this one is from Ula. He's Timmy McGrath, who of course has recently, in recent years, taken charge of Limerick Senior Football Championship final. So an experienced official, if he still is in fledgling area of his refereeing career. We're just trying to spot any changes in the Monaleen side, and it looks like Darragh O'Hagan is going to line up at midfield for the throw-in, but it's a toss-up between Jack McCarthy and Niall Loughran for the initial throw-in anyway, as the new one-on-one throw-in, which is becoming something we're getting very, very used to. And we are underway in this Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship quarter-final. Mungret St. Paul's with the initial possession through Jack McCarthy, and he gets a return from Killian Ryan, and immediately Monaleen funneling the bodies back. The rain has been steady, if not too heavy here in Clorina since we got here. The footing underneath, from my own perspective when we were out there, soft at times, and Mungret through Brendan Giltanan have the early possession. Slow tempo to it so far. Rob Hegarty is the man with the red sleeves, and he spins it across to his cornerback. That's Jason Hassett, and they move it all the way out to this left-hand side where there's room for James Garvey. Monaleen got into a very deep lying position here straight away, just defensively set.
And you can imagine that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and shut down, make the scoring zone as limited as possible. But possible chance here for number 11, that's Darragh O'Sullivan. Yeah,
O'Sullivan moving it across to Diarmuid Hines. He's left-footer, and I should say Shane Barry, and Barry's going to get it again.
Lovely player, Barry. Saw him playing twice this year. Very free scoring guy. You'd love to see him getting the ball closer to the goals.
Yeah, he was key part of that final victory in the intermediate grade when they finally got over the line 2 seasons ago against Drumbradford. Sorry to bring it up, Tommy, but that was Shane Barry's influence on the day. Oisin Moss dishes it out here to Diarmuid Hines. Back to Moss. Looking for Hines on the return. Monaleen with 12 men inside their own 45, more or less. And Mungret looking to pick a hole as Brendan Giltanan, one of the senior men on this team. He switches it across to Killian Ryan. He's all the time in the world to miscontrol it and gives it out to Moss. Moss, Limerick minor during the COVID years, has moved it on to Shane Barry. And Barry finds a runner. And this is Jack McCarthy. Monaleen yet to get a touch of the ball, really, Tommy. So
yeah, it's good play. Here's McCarthy.
Breaks through, spilled. And it breaks again. There's a chance of a goal here, straight from the off. Where's it gone? It's breaking, it's spilling. They're looking for a penalty, but Darragh Kennedy eventually knocks it away. A combination of Dermot Deneen, the goalkeeper, and 2 or 3 defenders. There was shouts for a penalty, certainly what I could hear, but the net result is a 45.
Quite fortuitous for Jack McCarthy there, because he was going right through the ball and he seemed to kind of miscontrol it as he wanted to get the strike away. But between all the numbers that Monaleen had back there, I suppose that's the advantage of the maybe slightly slower conditions that we have today is that you can get the numbers to the ball very quickly. You can get the numbers to the ball carriers. So you have to keep shifting the ball quickly. I'd say at the moment, and looking at what's going on, the recycles across the field are quite slow. You need to get a kick pass as part of that recycle if you can at all, and really attack the far side of the field. But an early opportunity there that would have been very, very important for both sides. Obviously, you'd have to big up Monaleen for keeping the scoreboard still at no score.
Yeah, it was Dara Kennedy, the number 6, who hacked it away. He captained Maru Boher to county glory last week at the intermediate hurling grade. Dermot Dineen, gingerly enough, gets to his feet. Looks in a spot or bother, maybe a clash on the shin or something, but thankfully he looks set to continue. Be a good opportunity at this point to say hello to the Fitzgerald and O'Briens watching this game all the way in Vancouver, shouting for Mungret St. Paul's as the 45 is taken short. Ball worked across now to Frank Corkin. Monaleen get the turnover, get their first possession of the contest. They are going to carry it out through captain Tygo Shukru. And Dara
Shukru's playing.
Yeah, Dara, that's him on the ball, isn't it? He switches it across.
Yeah, I would say he's probably not in for Padraig Quinn. I would imagine that Luke Murphy's gone to half back, in my opinion, and Dara's gone in at the half forward line. That's what it looks like to me, Tom.
Yeah, as Monaleen look to launch their first attack and going close, but not going out over line. Now it's been flagged out, has gone over. The linesman has his flag up here. Timmy McGrath continuing to play. Their communications line has eventually clicked in, so it's a line ball here for Monaleen, for Mungret St. Paul's, and that attack proving fruitless.
Poor decision from Kylie to, there was very limited space here in the wing, and they still tried to, very, very poor decision really. It looks like it's a game where you want to utilise space, given the difficulty in controlling the ball, given the conditions.
Yeah, and when you're against such a strong bridge, you just have to retain possession for, even if it's for a minute and a half at a time, and really stifle any momentum that Mungret are trying to build.
Yeah, and that's key. I'm sure that's part of their game plan, just make it as difficult as possible for both sides to maintain quality possession for long periods of time, not concede the scoring chances.
Darragh O'Sullivan gets on it. Here's Uwatsi now, getting the pass from James Killian. And they work it in to Barry. And here's Giltanan, and Giltanan's hand pass is blocked, but he'll be there on the cover for the second attempt. Dara Kennedy there for company. Good defensive work from Kennedy. Strong as an ox, yeah.
Strong, and gone straight away.
And
well done.
Cleverly takes the solo and go, and was stopped within the 4 metres. He's allowed to get 4 clear metres, ran into a Mungret St. Paul's man, or else the Mungret St. Paul's man didn't get out of the way.
It's the brains, not just the skill to execute the brilliant tackle, but also the brains to know he got guys in front of him. And that's so important for Monaleen, just to make sure that they stifle. That's the word you're looking to stifle Mungret for these long periods of time.
Yeah, just spotting Dara Murray, the water carrier today. I'm sure Monaleen would give anything to have their talisman out there, but injury has, from what I gather, ended his involvement in the 2025 season, but nevertheless he's here involved in some capacity as Conal O'Din gets on it. Another member of Jimmy Lee's panel this season, as he moves it on to Luke Murphy, and he slows the tempo. Tell you the Monaleen jerseys, they won't be white by the end of this contest, as Murphy carries across the 45, and here's up Tygo Shukru, and he has time to just carry it down that channel. Mungret now with the deep lying set, and there's plenty of movement going on inside in around the square as Dara Kennedy carries it. An interesting hand pass down the line now for Jack Canny. Canny keeps it in, decides to bounce. It has to come back. That's wise as he finds O'Din. Angle too challenging at this juncture. Back to Shukru, and time for Mungret now to make sure they're set defensively.
Yeah, but at the same time, if Mungret decide to just set off and let Monaleen pass the ball externally on the D there, they're going to waste their own time, because you do need a 5 or 6 point lead going into the second half, and I think they'll be very aware of that as the half is going on.
Absolutely, as the ball with Tygo Shukru now, and he has time to just keep it, and it's almost like a training drill so far for Monaleen, and they work it back to Conal O'Din as the rain picks up here in Clarina, as Mungret yet to get a real good squeeze on the ball, a bit like what we saw from Dara Kennedy. They need something like that, someone to make it awkward for the ball carrier, but this is 25-30 passes at this stage, nothing Mungret have done about it.
I don't think we're going to see, we're looking at the average scores, how much they scored and conceded. I don't think we're going to see a high scoring game today. I hope I'm wrong, hope the goals and the points flow, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen at the moment. O'Dollig first time on the ball. Yeah,
O'Dollig, the Limerick senior hurler and a very accomplished footballer in his own right. 14 goals for Mungret so far in the competition. Just the 4 for Monaleen, but 76 points to go with that for them. That's why they finished third in their group, as they thought they've lost it, but they have it again as O'Dynn right-footed, a little kick pass into the breeze. You can see what the wind did to that kick, and it falls nicely for Niall Loughran. Mungret tried to turn it over, and clock is ticking by nicely as Dara Kennedy gets on it. He's going to try and punch a hole here again. Kennedy, the long hand pass into the corner for Peter Hempenstall, and he is the man around in the loop. That's Jack Canny, and Canny injects a bit of tempo into it. Canny across the D and across the arc. There's no point in shooting from there. It is an absolute gale force breeze in their faces. So,
well, what would you expect? You wouldn't expect them to do anything else. They're wasting clock here. They know the second half is going to be their time to shine. So it's very incumbent on Mungret at the moment to push up and make it difficult on them.
And how are Mungret going to change something here? Are they afraid nearly to try and push up?
I think we're so conditioned to play in a certain way that it possible 2-point opportunity out here. Don't think it's a potential kick, but that remains to be seen. But I think people get so set on playing in a certain way, not conceding, not taking the risk of pushing up on a man, allowing a one-on-one opportunity. But I don't know if the game here today merits that. I think there's actually loads of merit in trying to go as close as you can, shoulder to shoulder with your man, because it is difficult to control the ball, and even if it gets by you, the conditions today will give you a chance to come back, and the rest of your teammates will help you out also.
Absolutely. So he's just about 44 metres from what I can see from goal, O'Dwyn, and he's going to take his time over this one. Breeze not relenting. O'Dwyn strikes it straight and true, but it tails the wind, carries it to the left and wide. So the first wide of the contest goes to Monaleen, and maybe that's how Mungret get the ball back. They might have to foul around there and see what Monaleen do with it. But
well, there was definitely a reaction from Monaleen, the team they picked, because based on the game 2 weeks ago against Adair, because they were cleaned out in the second half midfield, and they've selected, obviously Luke Murphy's playing, but he's playing more in a midfield role with Stephen Kiley and Niall Loughran. I think that's definitely a stronger midfield trio there for them, so hopefully they'll do a little bit better. But Mungret are tough out under the kick out, and they're very well versed from what I've seen from them so far this year.
Frank Corkin knocks it into Shane Barry. He's under serious pressure, but finds Darragh O'Sullivan on the move. And O'Sullivan, as I said to you, Tommy, before the game, his father lined out for the club in their only Limerick Senior Football Championship final appearance back in 2001. Might have been playing yourself, were you?
He was indeed, yeah, I remember him well. Good memories. Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
A good day for the men from Drumbrodford. As I think, was that your first senior? Was it, or was it the year before?
No, that was the first senior.
That was it, yeah. So, very, very memorable days for Drumbrodford. They're not so for Mungret, but they're doing their best to try and make their way back towards that as Killian Ryan gets on it. They move it out to O'Hagan, puts an absolute monster into the air, but it is well off target, and a huge roar from the Monaleen bench behind him, because it's as good as a turnover when a player takes a shot that's wayward like that, and possession now at Monaleen.
Well, I suppose we're looking at it in such a simplistic way that they have the conditions, they have the wind, they should be able to score, but Monaleen are getting the bodies in the right position, and even when you're dropping the ball, any bit of contact or even visually, if you put something in the way, it makes it very, very difficult to kick those scores easily. Midfield battle, Conor O'Dwyn.
Yeah, he's done it again. Dara Kennedy now on it, and moving it on to Luke Murphy. Good hands needed from here. Advantage through the middle as the two number 12s collide, and Murphy is going to come back for his free. No advantage coming, said the Ula referee, and Igo Shukru gets on it.
Yeah, Luke Murphy played most of the hurling so far this year, only joined the football panel late, so he's going to be getting better and better every game he plays. So looking forward to seeing how they utilise him in that third midfielder role is where I can see him playing.
Yeah, he's like Donegal Dalig, and I see some of the subs who've been in similar vein where hurling was number one priority, but now they're throwing their lot in with the footballers. It's all one club in Monaleen, as it is with Mungret St. Paul's. Is Monaleen happy to keep possession in their own half. Ball switched out to Conor Carew, and he's going to give an easy pass into O'Dwyn. His possession numbers are quite high so far, as to they have been for this man. That's Dara Kennedy, and Kennedy soloing inside that 20-metre line. Jinks one way, then the other. Does well not to over-carry. Knocks it down the line. The run has been continued by the number 2. And it's blasted wide from Conor Carew. He did well. He carried from his, or he'd continued his run from the own 65, but the shot didn't match the build-up.
It was brilliantly set up, to be honest. Just the 1-2s that were played in around that zone to get that shot away. But again, the difficulty in executing today is just it can't be said enough, you know.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jason Hassett does well to carry it. There's a free coming, and taken immediately by Brendan Giltonan. Now he's gone down a bit of a darkened alley, and Giltonan just about keeping it in play. Gives it back towards Jason Hassett, and looks like Monaleen have come up with it. Apologies if your view is obstructed. Plenty of umbrellas needed here in Clorina from the supporting cast, as the referee's blown his whistle. I think it's going to be a line ball, or is it a wide ball? It is indeed a wide ball. No signal from the umpires, but the referee has called it.
And again, kick out so far. I think it's 3-0, maybe one break to Monaleen probably, but three wins to 1 win in favour of Mungret.
Yeah, the referee just halting things for a moment. He's going to in to check on the Monaleen fullback, Ger Clancy. These sides have met once in recent times. Obviously, Mungret were intermediate for many a year, but once in recent years. That was last season in the group stages, and it took a very last minute John Hutton penalty for a 2-8 to 11 points victory for Mungret, a game that was played in Rappan. So little between them.
They would play regularly though in the City League and so on, so they wouldn't.
Sure, yeah, and even
very familiar
combinations
with
when they're at minor and 20s or 21s.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there'll be absolutely little they don't know about each other.
And the future is strong, because I'm a primary school teacher in Monaleen School, but we play against the Mungret clubs, the Mungret schools regularly. They're very, very accomplished out there, so the future is bright for both clubs.
Absolutely, as the populations grow, but so too do the playing resources, and they have to harness all that as O'Hagan gets
Great
on it.
pass.
Lovely ball inside to the runner.
Hines.
That's Frank Corcoran in a Hines squared across. There's a slip. Back Killian Ryan has finished it. Lovely hands from Mungret, and eventually Ryan prods it to the net with the right foot. But it was all about the slick hand passing for 4 or 5 passes in quick succession.
It would have been very easy for Dermot Hines just to put the head down and blast the ball, but 2 slick passes afterwards. Killian Ryan has it in the back of the net. I think Hines' ball across, I'm not sure who he gave it to, was slightly behind him.
I think it was
Giltonan, they calm to just receive the ball, turn around and give it to the next man coming through. Many guys would get flustered and feel like when they get on that ball they have to shoot it themselves. Not so. Great goal, great start.
Yeah, and it was the midfielder bombing in there, Killian Ryan, and a huge moment in this game, you'd feel, even at this early juncture, as Darragh O'Hagan gets on it. O'Hagan is fouled, and Mungret want to keep the tempo up as he takes the solo and go immediately in towards Giltonan. There's jostling off the ball as Giltonan does well to keep it.
Oh, that's a great pass.
Yeah, works its way out to Corcoran. He was involved in that goal in the early juncture. Gives it back to Hines. He'll want to turn onto his left, but he's disrupted and dislodged by Ger Clancy, and Monaleen get the stop. Luke Murphy sends it inside. Players losing their footing all over as the conditions continue to worsen here. Carried up by Conor Carew, and Carew with the advantage coming. Mungret thought they'd done enough to stop him, but it was illegal.
He's lucky because he actually took the ball blindly into 2-man tackle, but managed to win the free. That was probably a measure of their last game against the Dare. They took some poor decisions really in how they were, carrying possession into tackles, not aware of what the lie of the land as regards to people was on the field, and often they got turned over. Slick teams tend to know where the ball is going. They scan not just for the ball, but they scan for players also. Yeah,
you mentioned it there. It's Adair who await the winners in a semi-final, which will be played next weekend. It's been a stop-start championship given the scheduling we've had, but it's going to be a blitz to the finish really. Quarter, semi and final in consecutive weeks for whoever is involved in those. So
it'll test panels like 3 weeks in a row. You're bound to get, obviously fatigue is going to have a big part to play in it, but injuries and so on, and like a few teams have been heavily disrupted by injuries.
Yeah, Alan Nicholas, first time we've really seen him on the ball just outside that arc as he gives it into O'Dalik. Lovely switch of footing and turns back inside. It gives it to Stephen Kiley. In fact, and Kiley continues with it. Narrow down in a goal, takes his solo and is challenged.
Lucky to win that free. Yeah, that's very incidental contact in my opinion, but love to see the foray into the opposition 21-metre line.
Yeah, showed a clean pair of heels, but James Garvey thought he'd done enough, but perhaps in defence of the referee, as you're soloing, it can look an awful lot more like an aggressive foul.
Yes.
But that's probably why he gave it. It was the timing was slightly off from that regard, but it gives an opportunity for Tygo Shukru. And now he's brought the ball in. Darragh Hagan, Darragh Hagan made, I wouldn't say a burst, but he made a walk across to the referee to disagree with something. And the net result is this makes this free way more shootable, way more scoreable. And I'd even fancy myself from here, Tommy, as Tygo Shukru knocks it over. It's a bit silly from Darragh O'Hagan. I think O'Shukru would probably have scored it anyway, but given the wind
I
here,
would totally agree. It would have been a considerably more tricky for He still would have scored it, I reckon, but you don't want to give that advantage away.
And Timmy Mungret didn't entertain the discussion from the Mungret number 19. So kick out goes long and it spills off O'Hagan and goes to a white of Monaleen as O'Dwyn gets on it. He's carried so well and he continues to do so inside that 45.
It's brilliant.
Into O'Dowlig, just had to leap a fraction high for it, and O'Dowlig with a bit of a loose fist, and now the ball is kicked away after the whistle. So 50-metre advancement incoming. So Mungret are going to have a free more or less on the halfway line as a result.
Yeah, I was bigging up Conor O'Dwyn there, because when he attacked on the inside, he was looking to play the ball to O'Dowlig, who had wrong-footed his man and gone on the inside, but the ball did just not go to hands. Unfortunately, it could have been a goal-scoring opportunity if it did go to hand.
Yeah, and the number 10, he's carried very well so far, and you can see he's going to be a key man for Monaleen.
He is, and for Limerick too, I hope, over the years, because he's very, very athletic, and that strong build helps him to carry the ball superbly well.
Yeah, and kind of guy that's coming back with confidence. Have been involved sporadically with Limerick during the year as the ball is worked out here to Jack McCarthy. Hines off the left. Is that going to go for a 2? No, it's just dropping inside for Dermot Dineen, and there was little O'Hagan could do. He was well marshalled in front, but that's what Hines has in the locker. But
didn't connect.
Yeah, didn't really get that clean strike that would have just floated it over. But
you want to see that ball curving. It has to be kicked on the curve. He kind of kicked it like a knuckleball, and it didn't travel through the wind like you would have hoped.
Yeah, it went up and almost immediately started dropping as Conor Carew has his hands at it. Here's Dara Kennedy sitting well in that pocket for Monaleen, but they've coughed it up as Killian Ryan gets on it. In fact, sorry, it's Oisin Moss, the number 6, gives it into Hines. Hines with the high challenge on him. Hines off the left. Where's that going? That is an outrageous score.
Super.
He was fouled in doing it.
A heavy challenge afterwards, but Hines, I'll tell you something. We've seen him a few times in the championship kick scores like that, and obviously at the start of the season he wasn't even starting on the team, but the longer the season has gone on, the more he has cemented himself as a cast iron starter. He is an amazing kicker of a ball. That first one we spoke about it, the one 30 seconds ago, just it didn't strike with the ball correctly, but that's what he can do, and on an angle, beautiful, both left and right.
Yeah, and
he's worth the admission here alone.
Superb. He was fouled once, and then I think he was also fouled as he kicked it. Basically upended as he fired it off the left, but an absolute superb score, and opens up a bit more daylight between the sides. A goal and 2 now for Mungret to just that single point for Monaleen. It's great to have the confidence as well after leaving the other one short to just go for it again. I know he had advantage, but nevertheless he took it on. Ball into Shane Barry, 2 men around him. Barry is judged to have thrown the ball. Must be underarm, and Timmy Mungret demonstrating that it probably wasn't.
Do you know, it's a little bit disappointing that nobody from Mungret seems to be holding that position in front of the goalkeeper. Both Barry and Giltanan are looking for the ball out in the wing here.
It's actually congestion, the whole D.
It is, and like when they get the ball, all they're doing is recycling it back out to the half-forward line, back out to midfield again. You'd love to see someone inside in that full forward line, staying inside there and making it very, very difficult to just, I suppose, for the defender to create that mismatch.
Yeah, as the ball worked up from O'Shukru into the corner there, as Watsi defends his man, as it's worked on now to the team captain, that's Tygo Shukru, and what does the referee call here? Is it a free out?
I think it's a throw from O'Shukru.
Yeah, he just ended up on his backside, and
there must have been words again. I think is it the niggle? Is there a bit of niggle in the game? There certainly is. It feels like it.
There's a small bit of a needle. There was the famous quote from many a year ago as Mungret get the bounce of the ball off that one, as Hegarty, the Cork native, gets on it, and he moves it on now to Killian Ryan. Here's Darragh O'Sullivan. Green grass in front of him. You can feel the suspense from supporters and backroom team and everyone starting to build up here. As the ball is recycled, O'Sullivan pushed to the floor afterwards. As nothing doing, says the referee. We will continue. Here's Moss over on the far side, Soling left foot and I think then right. So gives it across to O'Hagan on the curl. There's a huge roar because O'Hagan has nailed it. It's a 2-pointer, and that's what you got to do in the breeze. Get your key men into the key positions, and O'Hagan nails it.
Most of the play has come down the near side to us here, Tom. So on the far side of the field, when players are getting a bit more space, like on that occasion, O'Hagan was able to come off the shoulder and with plenty space in front of him, kick the ball fairly comfortably over the bar. It had another 15 or 20 metres in it looked like to me. But again, you can see that strike. It has to be with the instep, and you don't need to overly force that ball to give it a chance to get over the bar. A lot of niggle in the game, though.
Absolutely, yeah. Two city clubs, you expect nothing less, and as we said, would have met. Some of them would have been meeting since primary school all the way up through the grades. As Monaleen, I think, are going to have to make their first change of the afternoon. Looks like Ger Clancy's race may be run, and he's being treated as number 17. He's been prepared for Monaleen. That is Jack Doyle. So
Jack had started many of the games as well this year, so this would not hold him back at all. A fine player, young player, lots to offer. But I reckon Ger Clancy was down in the corner a while ago that the referee had to go and check on him as well. So, yeah, unfortunately.
He's given it every chance, but unfortunately, it's not going to be his day in terms of seeing it out. So, with 22 and a half minutes or so gone, it's first sub of the afternoon. So
important kick-outs now for Monaleen. They don't want to be conceding
momentum should building very much against them quite quickly here as Deneen, left-footed, jets it into the air. You can see the ball starting to backspin there, contested well by both sides as it comes back to Mungret, and here's O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan taking his time and looking for options. Pops it off to Jack McCarthy. Back to Giltinan. Giltinan, he himself a teacher at Mungret Community College. Ball worked across to James Garvey. And Giltinan is there. Is Killian Ryan going to join in? Here he is. I was hoping he might make a spurt. As there's roaring and shouting about 3 up or 3 back, but there's plenty back in the Mungret half as it's with Shane Barry. Barry outside that arc. Miscued, but it's going to be kept in. No, it's gone well to the left and wide.
As long as my car is okay behind the goals, we're not going too bad, Tom. My car's parked in a bad spot.
Where I met you this morning, yeah, it probably is. If someone catches it absolutely perfect. I'm okay, I'm over in the corner, but
again, that was probably a forced opportunity there from Shane Barry. He probably needs to be a little bit closer to goals. He just felt like he was trying to kick the O'Neills off the ball.
Yeah, it didn't curl at all, or didn't get the contact to make it curl as Deneen with the other one. This time he goes to the opposite wing. Again, does well to even reach near that 65.
Kiley, brilliant.
Yeah. Great fielding, and Kiley gets up and knocks it into O'Dalik. Going to slip his man. O'Dalik racing away. He's 3 or 4 metres of separation. O'Dalik bearing down on goal. Hand passes it.
Score.
And over the bar. Simple old game. Kick. Caught in the middle, knocked into O'Dalik, and he had the clean pair of heels to burn his man.
You love to see those one-on-ones being taken advantage, and in fairness to Kiley, when he got the ball straight on the feet, saw O'Dalik one-on-one inside, he had his hand up, he wanted the ball outside him, he got it, and was able to use his physicality to get that bit of space for himself and kick a very, very important score for Monaleen. I mean, it looks like it's sparse with 2 scores, but at the same time, we can see how difficult the conditions are.
Yeah, they've won it again, and Luke Murphy to Odin, and then to the cornerback Carew. Slips but has time to get back on it under serious pressure, and now he's over carried. The mistake was when he slipped. That was when it started to cause problems, but Mungret wasting no time to get on it. One kick pass leads to another. O'Sullivan giving it inside to Barry. He's his head up looking for options as this is James Killian. He's encouraged to shoot, but I don't think he fancied it, maybe off his left as they work it across to Moss. Here is Giltinan as Darrow Sullivan now occupies full forward for a moment or two. But they want to keep space on the outside for the shooters as Frank Corcoran gets on it. He's sporadically joined in the attack as Killian Ryan holds a wide berth as Monaleen have time, or have allowed time, I suppose, for Mungret to build this attack. As the clock ticks on to, well, by my reckoning, 26 and a half minutes is another score or two, vital for Mungret as they head for that second half. Ball in towards O'Sullivan, and Dara Kennedy does very well again.
That's some serious defending by Dara Kennedy. Unfortunate there for Monaleen when the ball got turned over. I'm not sure it was. Got called for an overcarrying. Yeah, like that's quality from Mungret, because straight away they're getting the bodies around the ball, but the win. The excellent defending by Dara Kennedy. He's a really lovely player, carries the ball well, and he's got that physicality as well that'll turn over a guy, reading the game very well.
So the free to be taken by Giltanan. Whereas he brought it, he's nailed it. It's for one, it's inside, and it's a needed point for Mungret to move clear again. 6 clear now.
Yeah, and again, we talk about the kickouts. It's so important that Monaleen win their own kickouts, and anything you might have worked on in training over the last few weeks has probably been based on a dry pitch and the rain not hammering down, the wind not playing a huge factor. So it's very hard to do anything other than just get it out to the midfield, and your lads out there battle for it and be proactive underneath the next break afterwards. We're probably not going to see many short kickouts today, Tom.
Yeah, surprising that Dermot Deneen ran out of footballs. I'm sure Monaleen made sure there was none spare, just trying to milk that clock. Given that they're 6 down against the Rays, they've turned it over in the middle. Stephen Kiley again, he's starting to grow into this contest. Not sure what he wanted to do there, but got his wires crossed, and then a push in the back there, and it's going to be a free out.
Yeah, that was a questionable decision there from Kiley. It didn't work out for him, and he also had Killian right in front of him.
He neither soldered it nor did he kick it in, so he had to go chasing his own ball,
Yeah.
But disappointment for him. In case you're not aware, the other quarter-final took place yesterday. That was an all-West affair, Father Casey's, I should say. 14 points to 11 winners over St. Kieran's. They will face Newcastle West next Saturday. That's will be at 3 p.m. in McNeville Park. And in the relegation semi-finals, the first time we've had these semi-finals for many a year at senior football. Kildown, Pallaskenry and Ula avoided the trapdoor at the first hurdle. They've defeated Napearshig and Ballylanders respectively. So Ballylanders will face Napearshig in a very, very important game next weekend to keep their place at senior football. There'll be nail-biting and much more besides that one for both those clubs. A huge game.
Can Bally avoid it for one more year? They've done exceptionally well. Look, they've a lot of history. They do not want to lose their senior status, but they've been knocking on the door of that relegation for quite a few years. But Napearshig won't be easy to take down either. We know that they've got a fine panel as well, and maybe even a bit stronger as well.
Yeah, and neither side have won a game this year, so the farm lines aren't good, but it has to change for someone.
It does indeed, and you maybe Napearshig probably done a little bit better of late, pushing it there in one of the games as well.
Starting to find a bit of a scoring touch, haven't they, as the competition is worn on, so that could be key next week. As
good games to get for both sides, though. Extra games always good.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and gives the opportunity for more player development as well. But one of those will be heading for intermediate as Oisin Moss solos it through under serious pressure from Odin, and ball worked across, just about kept by Mungret St. Paul's, who I'm told we're going to have 4 additional minutes at the end of this half. A couple of injuries, as you will have remembered, to Ger Clancy and earlier to Dermot Deneen. So Mungret have a couple more minutes, or maybe 3.5, 4 more minutes to build on their lead, and it is a lead that will need to be built. You feel you could see what Monaleen have done in this opening half in attack. Overall, very little, as they set their defensive play once again to stop this Mungret momentum. Ball kicked inside, it's a loose one. They're all starting to slip. Moss gets on it, second attempt, hand passing it across to Darragh O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan just takes his eye off it for a second. Ball squirting away from all the players on the surface. Is there an accidental breach there? There is, but we will play on. There's communications. I think the officials are now in discussions. It should be a free to Mungret on the halfway line, but the referee in consulting can hear, you see him there on his earpiece as we do play on. Ball switched across here. We'll come to that in a second. Yeah, Luke Murphy is deciding to get on it. He's left to it. Murphy bearing down on the 20-metre line. Murphy off the right, curling it up. It's going to stay in play. It's going to stay in. Breaking around there. Picked up.
What's it doing?
Yeah. It's blocked. It's off the body of Kieran Uwatsi. It was a chance for Peter Hempenstal, but Mungret turned it over. And another 50-metre advancement. This game is bubbling up. You can see little skirmishes breaking out off camera.
Yeah, and it's not just happening on one spot, it's happening everywhere after the ball. There's niggle, there's pushes, the whole lot. Yeah. It's actually a really good watch. I know we might necessarily get the scores, but there was great dynamic here.
Absolutely.
Excellent pass.
Oh, lovely. He kicked free from Killian into Giltanan, and another punch done into the corner to Hines. Oh, lovely turn, but he slips doing so. Gives it back to Giltanan. Giltanan, another little kick inside to Killian. And Killian on the ground. He protests he's innocent, but given the new rules, there's no time for argument as the solo and go is taken. The O'Shoe crew's now linking up. Here's Tig. Back to Dara. Two men on the Limerick senior panel this year, and two men who made their impact at different stages as well. Monaleen, I think we're just going to try and work the clock down. O'Dwyn sends it up into the air, and Dara Kennedy is going to have to go back and gather it, and he'll have all the time to do so. Hempenstall had that opening for the goal chance, but Kieran Owatsi bravely dived low to block it. He would have had Ronan McGilligan behind him, but there's no guarantee it wouldn't have scored past the lot of them as Monaleen. They'd love a late score here, Tommy, wouldn't they? Oh, they've turned it over. Yeah. O'Hagan is on it now. Gets his toe under it, giving it to the runner. It's Jason Hassett. Look at the speed of Hassett through the middle. Sees green grass in front of him. Hassett's still going. He's ended up on the floor. Here's Killian Ryan. Ryan off the left, and he's split the posts for one. And great score. But Jason Hassett just darting through the middle and opening up the space.
It came back from Tygo Shukru attacking the far side of the field, and Rob Hegarty did brilliantly well. A hand in there just to stop that pass. The ball hit the ground, and Hassett's tearing through the middle. He probably could carry it a little bit more, and maybe it might have been a goal opportunity, but at the same time, it's very important for both teams to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Great score there from Killian Ryan. Who for me should have been on the Talton Team of the Year, by the way.
Okay, well, we'll debate that maybe in the second half. His ball worked inside. Mungret will want another now just to further improve their position. Frank Corcoran does well. Corcoran onto his left as he brought it in. It curls beautifully in the breeze, and Frank Corcoran adds another quick-fire double for Mungret. And the gap widens to 8.
Frank is right, like that was an absolute perler with a left leg. Well, that was a great score.
He'd have fooled me, Tommy. Brilliant score.
Yeah, like he had that bit of space, top bit of D, but even when you have the wind, you just have to put the ball in the right direction, just set it sailing, and you'll get your good results.
Yeah, well, Mungret...
again, Frank Corcoran with the win midfield.
He does well, and now the ball is going to be brought forward. Or is it? It's a free anyway.
I don't think
it's a free first, isn't it?
Yeah, he didn't. Did he blow the whistle for the mark?
I think he did. I think, but maybe Corcoran was initially hit. Yeah, of course they did change that rule. There's been so many rule changes this year, but originally that would have been advanced maybe for a free on the arc. And there's the half-time whistle. So the question is, have Mungret put enough of daylight between the sides? They get 2 points in stoppage time to swell it out to a goal and 7 to 2 points, Tommy. But Monaleen now will have seen the formula that Mungret used, and can they do better maybe in the second half? That's the question.
They'll have to do better than they did 2 weeks ago against Adair. Their second half was definitely not as good as their first half. They might have to change it up a small bit. They might have to bring someone like Barry Griffin in full forward, just to create that genuine inside, big guy inside, win a few breaks off him and so on as well. But I don't think 8 points is unsurmountable. I do not think it's insurmountable. I think they have enough talent in their team to keep the scoreboard taking over. And let's face it as well, Mungret have conceded plenty. They conceded 3-7, 2-9, 2-13, so they do concede goals. So I think that they definitely will feel like in the dressing room that they have enough within the dressing room, enough within the bench as well to have an opportunity to progress and play there in the semi-final.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, we're going to head for a break here ourselves. We'll be back with the second half shortly, where it is Mungret St. Paul's leading a goal and a 7 to Monaleen's 2 points.
For expert advice and consultancy on lifts and escalators, trust Horgan's Lifts and Escalator Consultants, based in Mungret. Providing reliable, professional service you can depend on. Call 086 260 4317 or email john@horgans.net. Horgan's Lifts and Escalator Consultants, lifting standards higher.
For over 50 years, PFL Floor Coverings has Ireland's one-stop shop for all your flooring needs. From carpets to vinyl and laminate, we're proud to be the exclusive suppliers of Cortec floors in Ireland. Call our Limerick HQ on 061 227 100. PFL Floor Coverings, quality you can stand on.
At Hogan Dowling McNamara Solicitors Limerick, we take a hands-on, partner-led approach, delivering expert, transparent and cost-effective legal solutions. Call 061 501 100 or email info@hdm.ie. HDM Solicitors. Legally speaking, we're different.
Okay, you're very welcome back to Clorina. We're doing our best to stay dry. Monaleen are back out on the field with a game plan that they hope will see them turn this game around. 2 points is all they could manage in that first half. Those coming from a free from their team captain, Taig O'Shukru, and a second point then from Donncha O'Dalik, who hand passed the ball over the bar after a fine set-up play from Stephen Kiley. Mungret yet to re-emerge from the dressing room, but they're well placed, obviously having the 8-point advantage, but work still to do for them. Tommy Stack is alongside me again for the second half. Tommy, Monaleen probably spending less time in the dressing room. I wonder what their game plan will be for the second half. Any thoughts on what they might head out here with?
Yeah, I would hope that, like that, Donncha O'Dalik, we saw how impactful he can be when he gets on the ball, but the closer he gets the ball to goals, the better for them. Although he's a brilliant striker from 25-30 yards also that he showed in the championship so far. But I'd love to see Monaleen with a nice direct ball into the full forward line, utilise the space that's in front or between the half forward line and the full forward line, clip it in front of them, lads running out strongly, runners off the shoulder. That's an ideal situation, but I think what's primary for them is that they have to win more midfield kickouts. They just have to win the breaks. The breaks they're dirty at times. You have to be proactive, knowing where that break is going to go. Invariably, it breaks that side that the wind is blowing to. It blows. It's going to break in that side. So they have to do better on the kickouts because Mungret definitely held the upper hand in the first half.
They did indeed. Yeah, there's no sign of Mungret just yet, but no sign of changes anyway on the Monaleen team. Ger Clancy, as we know, hobbled out of that opening half, and it was as well Dara Shukru who started in place of Padraig Quinn. There are only two changes from the starting side at the end here. Come Mungret, and as we said, it's a meeting with Adair in next week's semi-finals. Two semi-finals on Saturday, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. next weekend. So big opportunity for all four clubs, and Adair, I'm sure, have a few scouts. We've seen the Limerick senior football manager here as well, in the former Jimmy Lee. But I'm sure a few Adair men either tuning into us
no doubt,
or watching here. And look, it's been a very changeable championship. We started the championship like in July, and now we're into real winter football now. So things are changing week by week in that regard.
And teams that might have prospered in July mightn't necessarily be that suited to it, but you just have to adjust and you have to make the best of the situation that is afforded to you. So. Looking forward to a right good tough battle in the second half. I feel like the physicality, the aggression that we saw, the niggle that we saw is not going to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Big prize enough for both these sides. It was Mungret St. Paul's who got to a semi-final last year, having won all 5 group games, and that was a meeting with Father Casey's, who pipped them in similar conditions to this. Kevin O'Hagan just going in, just sorting something out with the referee.
I think Jack Summers is after coming in.
Yeah, looks like he's gone in. Is that him at wing forward?
That's him, yeah, 21.
So Jack Summers perhaps in, and I wonder who's made way for Mungret. We'll try and figure it out as we go, as Timmy McGrath readies the O'Neill size 5, and the second half of this Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship clash is underway, and a free coming for Mungret. Oisín Moss does well. Oh, clever engineering of the 50-yard advancement, and it's going to be a tap over free, because 50 metres from there, by my reckoning, is just outside the 20-metre line.
Well, Timmy's steps might be bigger or smaller than yours, Tom, so I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. Looks like it's going to be a tricky enough task here for Shane Barry. He's probably, 35, 40 yards out, and this is no gimme at all. So, Barry, with their opportunity to get the first score of the second half, and against this breeze would be absolutely vital. It would be massive, yeah.
Off the left, Barry strikes it through, gets the power and gets the accuracy, and
it's the ideal situation really for Mungret St. Paul's. Go out and stretch the lead. They can sit a little bit deeper, they can break more when they need to, when they turn over Monaleen, but kick-outs again, so key.
Yeah, so 9 points now, the task on hand for the men from the far side of the city. That's Monaleen, as they have advantage here in the middle. Ball is handled on the ground, so it's going to be a free back on the far side, and free taken from the wrong position.
And what I saw there was straight away when the referee gave the free, the Mungret St. Paul's fellas just filtering back inside in that 45-yard line, not giving that space, not giving that area for Monaleen to counter-attack into man-on-man. They just want to make sure they're very, very secure back there.
That's for sure. They can only, of course, have 12 behind the ball, including their goalkeeper, so they're trying to block it up as the ball was with O'Shukru, worked out to this right-hand side. Sweet. And it's the number 10, Conal O'Din, who curls it over didn't need a second opportunity. Once he saw an opening, he pops it over right-footed.
And what I love there is that Darragh Shukru kept the width out here on the wing, pulling out the defence, and he had the strong runner on the inside of O'Doin, who finished beautifully on the right-hand side with the instep of the right foot. That's a quality score, and it'd be great to give him a bit of confidence now.
Sure will, as the kick out. First one into the breeze for Ronan McGilligan. Does well to reach near enough halfway. Darragh Sullivan on it. Left-footed pick up from him. Has he been turned over? Maybe he has, but Mungret have it, and they have advantage. They work it back on this, back towards this near side. Here's O'Sullivan. Lovely little interchange of passes. The niggle continues as Kieran Uwatsi gets on it. There's a challenge there. Nothing doing, says, or the referee in fact has the arm up for advantage. O'Sullivan works it across to O'Hagan. Body strewn all over the pitch, including Jack McCarthy of Mungret. Dara Kennedy is back to his feet. And it's 100 mile an hour stuff here to start the second half.
It really is. It's hard to know where to look sometimes because there's bodies flying everywhere. After every pass, there's niggle. There's a guy getting pushed to the ground. There's verbals, and you can see how much it means to both sides. They want to make this semi-final, but they also know they want to be the kingpin. They want to be the Premier City team.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, the last city representative at this grade will be whoever wins this one. It looks like Mungret at the moment, but a long, long way to go. As O'Hagan stands over the free. There's a sub being called for by Mungret, and I think it's another forward option is going to come in. Is it Dara Bridgman, I think?
As it that Hines going out, I think he got an injury in the first half and just hasn't been able to shake it.
So Mungret bring on number 17, Dara Bridgman, for the number 10, Diarmuid Hines, who kicked that wonderful 2-pointer in the first half. That's his contribution to this contest, or one of them anyway. Ball back to Moss, just about skipped into his grasp. Switches it out to James Garvey, and now Mungret doing what Monaleen did early in the opening quarter of this contest, just keeping the ball in the opposition half.
You can be sure, though, that Monaleen have spoken about this. They will not allow Mungret to just pass the ball over and back the field. They'll have to get into their faces straight away.
They sure do. It sure will want to do that as Jack McCarthy is on it. Two Monaleen men disrupt him.
It's good stuff from Monaleen there.
And it's a line ball. Ball is just trickled out over the line. And immediately the blue jerseys of Mungret funnel back. Monaleen haven't seized the initiative and taken it quickly. Ball inside to O'Doin. Solos one way and hand passes it back to Ushukru. He's going to switch the play across here for Hempenstall, and he's miscontrolled, but soccer style almost, jetting it into the corner. He's going to get it again, is the number 5. Solos it there, the two number 5s colliding. Frank Corcoran again around on the cover, and Uwatsi emerges with it, gets his head up, gets his hand pass away, and Mungret now neat and tidy escape the clutches of the Monaleen challenges. This is the number 21, that's Jack Summers. Towering presence for him, and probably will be a starter. I'm not sure, has injury been a challenge for him this season, but he's been a key member of Mungret's team in the last few seasons. As the ball is coughed up a little bit too easy. Mungret appealing for ball being handled on the line as the wind gusts through our position here. Kicked
Great
inside.
pass.
Yeah, and it's open grass in front of Kenny, the corner forward. Takes on his man. Kenny does well. He's marshalled there. Is he upended? Ball is kept in play, and Uwatsi gets the toe to it and scoops it up for himself as the jostle for possession. There's a foul there by O'Hagan. Monaleen can play. It's a bit of a free play. Luke Murphy would be wise to have a go at the 2. Murphy well wayward and well off target, but they're going to come back for the free, which is inside the arc, but a chance for them to knock going over and start a bit of momentum.
It's quite hectic there for the last couple of minutes, but some really good defensive play from both sides. You'd have to say Rob Hegarty and Uwatsi did fantastically well to turn over, but then the hand pass out from the back was just a wobbly one, a wavery one in the wind, and allowed again for another turnover. So we're getting an exciting game. It mightn't be the best technically at the moment because the skills aren't, I suppose we're not seeing the slickest play because of the conditions, because of the wind, because of the moisture, but at the same time we're seeing plenty turnovers, plenty hits, and plenty opportunities for scores.
Yeah, did Monaleen see an avenue to goal there? Like that kick pass there when Mungret weren't set, that was it didn't yield to a direct score, but certainly it looked like an opportunity for them.
But I think they're probably +1 at the back no matter what anyway. That Mungret have said that they'll stay +1 at the back, and I mean that's always going to make it difficult when you're playing that ball in, because the utility man can see where that ball has been played in. He can go over and join, and he's constantly got a 2-on-1. So it is going to be a tough one for Monaleen to figure out, and like I say, we'll see. Hopefully we might see that big man coming in at some stage.
Yeah, so the free from Tygo Shukru is knocked over. The watch has been stopped by the referee. I think it's Larkin Lyons who's been summoned from the bench, and it's the number 5 Hempenstall who makes way for Monaleen, and indeed it is Larkin Nines who returns to the Monaleen football side. One of the captains in recent seasons on the hurling front, but an accomplished footballer in his own right.
And just a brilliant club man. Brilliant club man.
That's for sure. The kick out, Timmy Mungret has to get out of the way of it as Luke Murphy gathers it. They're working back to O'Dollig. O'Dollig has a go.
2-pointer.
Is it? In it is. The umpires have seen the signal from the referee. It's the orange flag. The super split from O'Dollig, and momentum now firmly with Monaleen.
We have a game, and every kick out now is going to be so key, because we've seen this with Gaelic football since the rules have changed. Momentum is crazy. You get your momentum, you can score in tranches, you can get goals and points galore. If you can't stem that tide, you've got to win your own kickouts.
Hanging up there, about 10 or 12 bodies beneath it, and a free one by
Summers
Mungret.
did well.
Yeah, Summers got his back over it, got his foot beneath it, and was fouled in doing so. So a reprieve for Mungret for now anyway. But O'Dollig showing the skills that he has. Brilliant.
Yes, great to see. But even for Summers there, just chatting about how that dirty ball needs to be won, and someone has to go down. Oh, opportunity here again.
O'Dollig sniffed it but couldn't get it. Moss tidies up for Mungret as they're trying to keep the ball. They're playing with fire here. Moss does well though. He's carried well throughout this contest. Heads up football from him. Sends it inside. Ball lost again, but they're going to go back to Moss, and there's a bit of room is out this side as the ball is with James Garvey. Back to Moss. The hand pass has to be hit hard in this weather as it's kicked out here to O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan, he has his head up. Lovely little pop pass into O'Hagan. He finds the runner. Interchange of passes. Mungret bearing down on goal, looking to knock one over. And it's off target. It was James Killian in the end, but a bit like the goal, couple of quick hand passes, they unlocked the defence, but the finish wasn't there.
And what Mungret were able to do was they were able to get lads into space, because all of Monaleen were pushed up. Well, let's win the ball further out the field, so they were able to spot those gaps. Lovely little kick pass through to O'Hagan. 2 or 3 passes later, they'll be just a little bit disappointed they didn't keep the scoreboard taken over there. Next kick out, Tygo Shukru.
Oh, he spilled it, but he spilled it to his own man as the number 10 O'Dyn gets on, and he too has coughed up possession. Here's Rob Hegarty, like a bar of soap now. No one seems to be able to hold on to this possession cleanly as Luke Murphy gets on it. Dara Kennedy. You may notice by our camera that that wind is picking up, the rain too, and here is Kennedy again. Mungret not letting them out easy on this occasion, but there's space inside. I see Kenny, the corner forward, making a dart, but no one sees him, and it switches it out to Andrew Carney. Kiltanan is there with him, and Kiltanan is adjudged to have pushed his man, and immediately Andrew Carney gets on with it. No time for resting on your laurels. Niall Loughran gives it to O'Shukru. 2-3 men end up on the floor, and it's going to come to a white jersey. That's Stephen Kiley. Second attempt, he'll gather it, and ball knocked out of his hands, and the line ball is going for Monaleen.
The simple things done well would go an awful long way today, and I think the frantic nature of the game is just making it really, really difficult for both sides. I think a bit of calm would be what's expected here. Again, loads of niggle off the ball. Summers and O'Doin having a crack off each other here.
He's going to have a go, I think. O'Shukru. He has a go. Where's it gone in around the goalkeeper? Ooh. Oh, he did superly well, did the goalkeeper. He was, I was going to say battered out of the way afterwards.
Was it Jack Kenny?
Might have been, but the foul on the goalkeeper. Good, clever goalkeeping from Ronan McGilligan. It was an effort from O'Shukru from the sideline, and he got his fist to it to deny the goal, or maybe even a point if he flicked it up out of the way. But Mungret again with the reprieve. 5 to the good they are as the clock ticks into the final third of this contest. Hegarty does well. He's hand passed it out over the line. They've really got the squeeze on now, have Monaleen.
Who's in the full forward line? There's just O'Dollig in the full forward line, but here's Darragh O'Shukru from deep.
Off the left.
Oh, it's over the bar for 2, I'd say.
It is for 2, yep.
Wow, there was a really flat trajectory on that one. There's no way when he kicked it you would have said it was going to make that 2-pointer, but we're down to a 3-point game. Can you believe it, Tom?
They've gone 4, 6 and 8 because of those 2-pointers, and we're down to the 1-goal game as plenty going on off the ball. O'Shukru didn't waste a moment in having a go.
Did he even have a look, Tom? I'm not sure he had a look. I think he just gave it a crack. Here again, poor kick out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming out here to the sideline again.
It's going to skid out over. Monaleen have made a sub. Alan Nicholas has made way. Who has come in? I will just confirm momentarily. Shane Dolan, the number 18.
Shane Dolan, excellent player, was on the minor panel a few years back. Very comfortable on the ball. Strong player, can take frees as well.
Yeah, Monaleen sensing their time is now to go and grab this game. Here
Tina's
is
jersey.
Yeah, Tina's jersey on the field. Dolan carrying across that arc. Heads up. Thought about it. Hegarty got tight though, and Hegarty forces the turnover. Here's Frank Corcoran going to carry it from Mungret into that breeze. Corcoran wants someone off the shoulder. He wants someone ahead of play. Dara O'Hagan is one of those. The hand pass sees him fouled, and O'Hagan wins his free. And there's mixed messages coming in from the line. Some people want Mungret to slow it down. Others want him to speed it up. But 3 points to the good. They get a defensive reprieve for the moment. But the 2 pointers transforming this game again,
brilliant.
Tommy.
It's brilliant. It obviously it helps to narrow the game. It helps to make a great game of it. But the 2-pointer in itself has been such a brilliant innovation. Just from a Mungret point of view, what do they do at the moment? Do they slow it down? If they slow it down, every time they get on the ball, then there's more pressure because they're probably picked up so tightly by the Monaleen guys. Are you better off going quickly, or are you better off mixing it? I don't think you need to slow everything down. I think you have to go quickly still, even when you're ahead here, because you'll probably need a few more scores by the time this game's out.
Yeah, it might be a case of getting to, what are they on now, 11, might need to get to maybe 14 or so to be sure of this one, but they have the advantage. That's key as the ball is worked across to the far side. O'Hagan has to reach high for it into Barry. Barry jinking one way, off the left, and Shane Barry, they worked it in the back door, and Mungret put 4 between them again.
And again, when O'Hagan was going through, he took 3 men with him, so that ball to the inside to Shane Barry was there, and Shane Barry, look, that's meat and drink to him, left or right leg, beautiful strike into the wind. And again, they have to be aware, Monaleen, that there's a defensive side of things that has to be carried out too. It can't be all attack.
That's for sure.
Nice kick out.
Yeah, kick out finds his man. It's O'Shukru. And tension really building here in Clorina as Monaleen, Curtis Heroes 2-pointers back in the contest, but thankfully for Mungret, Shane Barry came up with some answer there. And they showed how to do it, get in around the back and get very close to that goal. In fairness to both sides, they haven't really wasted opportunities. Tommy, we haven't seen 9-10 wides kicked into that breeze or anything like that. They've been very efficient in their shot selection as Monaleen kick one out here, and it's going to skid on the surface, and it's going to be a blue jersey, and that's that man again, Frank Corcoran.
I said a great game.
Corcoran kicking it inside. Giltanan is going to win the race, is he? He does. He puts the brakes on. Does Giltanan, gives it back to Corcoran. Thought about the shot. Works it back to O'Hagan, and O'Hagan on the run. He's curled it over.
Brilliant.
Brilliant stuff from Corcoran, and then lovely finish from O'Hagan.
Yeah, and when we'll be talking about man of the match at the end of the game, Frank Corcoran's name is definitely going to be mentioned. Obviously, O'Hagan is heavily involved, but Corcoran's defensive side of it, his ability to go from 45 to 45, his creativity, his ability to kick a score. Wonderful stuff from Frank Corcoran. Yeah,
speaking of 45, we're just on the 45th minute now, so a quarter of this contest. A reminder, if we do finish level after 60 minutes, it will be extra time, and beyond that, it will be penalties. But a lot will have to happen before that is on our lips here in Clorina. So, Monaleen just trying
Luke Murphy's a bit gimpy looking there. He's not walking fantastically well. Maybe he has to come off the field. Is he taking his gloves off?
It's an issue with his hand maybe or something, but he's looking in a bit of bother. Yeah, he's going to make way. So, Monaleen have to roll the dice again.
We've no scoreboard at the far side who's going to tell us what number is coming in and what sub is coming in, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll pick it up as we go here now, but unfortunately Luke Murphy, who was influential at times, he makes way, and Monaleen go to their bench again as the kick out from the left boot of Dermot Deneen goes in search of the midfield, but again a blue jersey is up there, and again Mungret have it. Another score or two could be their lot, as could be enough for them, as James Garvey sends it inside to Bridgman. In fact, one of his teammates beats him to it. O'Sullivan goes down over it, and Conor Carew fouls him in the process, and an opportunity for Mungret to have another shot at the posts.
Yeah, looks like number 19 is after coming out from Monaleen.
Paul Kenny, yeah. So Paul Kenny is in for Monaleen, and for the last quarter of it is Giltanan Is it worth having? Oh no, he decides he's going to keep possession. O'Hagan hand passing it back to O'Sullivan, and he decides to keep on. Here's Bridgman. They're working back to the wing back. That's James Garvey. Just trying to work this clock down, I think, a little bit and tire out the Monaleen piece. Monaleen have 3 up, so Conlow Din can go back. Bit of confusion there that led him to just come out of that play.
Inside ball, unlucky.
Yeah. Just a bit too strong for the grasp of Jack McCarthy. Monaleen have it. Kennedy O'Dollig has gone back to assist in defence. Here's O'Shukru moving it out to the substitute. That's Paul Canny. Quick transition. Ball knocked inside. Owatsi out in front. Gets a glove to it. Back heels to try and keep it in. He's giving away the line ball, but that's a bit of a win for him.
Love that style of defending. You're obviously taking a chance when you're going for it, but you have to be very confident in your abilities to get that paw on the way.
Yeah, Mungret have the 3 up, and O'Dollig from the 65, and he had the length, but the trajectory was all wrong. But that'll tell you how strong the breeze is. A speculative enough effort. I was on about efficient use of the ball. Probably not the best choice there.
Just stretching it a small bit more. But the momentum we spoke about earlier, where Monaleen got their period of dominance. It's been 3 scores in a row now. Or has it been 3? No, 2 scores. Two scores in a row from Mungret, and really has been a twisty-turvy game, a roller coaster of a game for both sides.
Yeah, 4 scores to 3 in the second half. But crucially for Monaleen, the 2 pointers have brought them a fraction closer. But work still to be done as O'Sullivan takes on his man. Advantage for Mungret. So O'Sullivan to O'Hagan and back to O'Sullivan. He pops it across to number 12. That's James Killian. Keep ball is the order of the day.
Grab.
Yeah.
It's
O'Dwayne has done well. Where's it going? A line ball going for Mungret.
Very, very unfortunate really there. It was just his physicality that pushed Killian out of the way.
O'Hagan knocks it inside, I should say Corcoran knocks it inside, as this is now O'Hagan. And I did notice just around his collar he's been heavily strapped. I believe shoulder trouble has been his problem in recent weeks, but giving it all for the cause. His father, the manager of the team as well, so it's been it's a high challenge there, and advantage for Mungret, and they do come back for the free. It's won by Dara Bridgman, and again, we haven't mentioned new rules overly much this afternoon, but there's the advantage. There's no limit. It used to be 5 seconds. Bridgman can have a couple of goals at it. Doesn't get actually the advantage. So back for the free, and Mungret will be delighted with that result.
He wasn't far off releasing a guy on the inside that could have been through for a goal threat, but Mungret are doing very, very accomplished job at the moment. Quite professional in how they're dealing with the football, swinging it across the field, creating opportunities when they need to, and it's quite late in the piece now. There's only just over 10 minutes to go, but Monaleen definitely have to make a few changes. Our style of play has to change at least. Yeah,
ball with O'Sullivan. Darragh O'Sullivan trying to curl one over. It is just across the face of goal and wide from the number 11.
He's a lovely player. O'Sullivan has been on any amount of ball today, and mightn't have seen a whole pile from him in front of goals. Obviously that one was kicked wide, but he's a very good man for the 1-2, the give and go, constantly looking forward to seeing what can go on. And today's conditions probably wouldn't suit him as much as it might do it. Here's a win midfield again. I see the best of him. Love to see that.
Yeah, no curse from the commentator. It was actually the opposite. He gets on it. His ball with the number 2, Jason Hassett. Larkin lines for company. Hassett sends it into the corner for the number 7, James Garvey. Garvey to Shane Barry. And I see that Mungret trying to keep the ball in that corner. They work it back to Giltanan. Giltanan puts the brakes on, gives it to the aforementioned O'Sullivan.
Lovely.
Little kick pass inside to James Killian. Killian takes on his man, tries to bounce it, which is
good strength from Loughran there. Yeah,
Loughran did well, got close and waited for the bounces. Ball with Tygo Shukru, moves it on quickly to the number 9, Stephen Kiley. Heads up from him, Kiley lofting one diagonally. O'Dollig up to win.
He's doing it.
And Rob
win there from Rob Hegarty. Excellent.
Didn't win the first ball, but was sharp for the second one. And Uwatsi gets on it. Mungret now playing with a bit of a pep in their step. They've managed to keep Monaleen scoreless for 10 minutes or so. Huge in a game of this context. Huge in a game with such a strong breeze in their faces. Corcoran does well. And a high challenge on him. There's a free coming. And frustration building now in the Monaleen ranks. And belief, I'm sure, that Mungret are very nearing on victory here. and a second semi-final in as many seasons at senior level is probably within touching distance.
Yeah, I cannot stress to anyone who's watching or here at the game today how difficult these conditions are. Simply getting control of the ball first time, it takes every bit of concentration that you have, and when that is done well, it makes everything else easier. But because both sides are really at it hard and they're very tight in how they're marking and so on, the tackles, that first up possession is very, very difficult to attain. So that's why it's becoming such a physical battle underneath the ball. Another strong tackle put in from Tiger Shukru there.
Play will continue. Slipping and sliding, another late challenge there. Monaleen giving away another free as Uwatsi gets on it, carries them to the half-hour position. Possession. Surely the order of day for Mungret now as Bridgman sends it inside to Barry, who's going to gather it at the second attempt. Uwatsi puts the right foot under it. Oh, but it's spilled. Monaleen hunting in packs, but not getting their reward just yet. As Monaleen temporarily in breach of the tree up as it stands. The halfway line is there. Shukru still on the far side of it, and there's the tree up. It's been broken. I actually could hear the referee was or the linesman I should say was actually encouraging the Monaleen man to go back, but he just didn't listen, and that could be the final nail in the Monaleen coffin.
Yeah, if that were to be the case, Tom, that's really, really poor. I think it was Tygo Shukru actually, was it?
Yeah,
Tygo
it was,
Shukru, yeah. Didn't follow the rules of the linesman, told him exactly what was going on, and it's an easy opportunity here again for Shane Barry in front of the goals to stretch the lead. And at this stage, a 6-point lead with 6, 7, 8 minutes to go. It's absolutely, it's huge when you consider how the game has gone so far.
Yeah, and they haven't threatened a goal thus far, have Monaleen. I wouldn't rule it out just yet, but hasn't looked too likely as the contest is worn on, as the ball is flashed over the bar from Shane Barry. Confident and routine kick for someone of his skill level.
And they haven't missed John Hutton as the free taker today because Barry has been so accomplished.
John who, they'll be saying in the dressing room. Yeah, as Monaleen get the short kick out of the way, and as short as you can under these new rules. 20 metres is the distance the ball must travel now outside that arc, as Monaleen find the runner. Niall Loughran jinking inside. So difficult underfoot conditions here in Florina, and credit to Ballyround, they have the pitch in fine fettle, but little they can do about the weather down on top of it. As the ball back to Loughran. Monaleen needs some magic. Another 2-pointer wouldn't go astray. Larkin lines. He's a bit of room in front of him, but setting up outside the arc are the blue jerseys of Mungret. Ball carried inside, having a go for a score. Is it off target, off the post? And is it going to be kept in? It is. Umpires having a close look. This is Stephen Kiley, and he's been fouled. And it was an attempt, I think, for a single point. As Monaleen pick up the pieces and get the score, but they need to get that scoreboard moving very quickly.
The next score, I was just going to say it there, Tom, the next score has to come from Monaleen or the game is over. Yeah. So it's a potential 2-pointer here. I think it's just outside the arc.
Well, no, if it's inside the 20, it's only 1. So yeah, he's not even looking at the posts. He goes short. They're going to try and work something from here. It's back to Odin off his left. What's he done with it? Oh, it's across the face, a goal and wide.
Slightly off balance taking that shot, and a lot of bodies around as well. A lot of bodies around. I think once again when they push inside, they're pulling all the defenders in with them. Is there a chance they could put a nice little hand pass out and a shooter just outside that tee for a 2-pointer? Because I think 2-pointers is going to be needed. 2-pointers and perhaps goals needed.
Yeah, green and orange perhaps needed down the stretch here for Monaleen. Do you miss Tommy playing in these conditions?
I do not. I do not indeed.
How did I know the answer to that question?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I do not miss training in these conditions either.
No, well, whatever about matches. Yeah.
Or warming up in these conditions, actually.
Yeah. We're happy enough that Kevin, our cameraman, has provided us with some bit of shelter here. But even then, it's challenging in these conditions for everyone. And good to see support from both clubs over to our right hand side. But one of them will have a day out next week, and it certainly looks like it'll be Mungret St. Paul's at this juncture. But
And of the two teams, I reckon Mungret St. Paul's are probably in a better position to give Adair a right good battle.
They beat them last year in the group. I know it's a long time ago. But
they did. And then from what I saw as well, the first day out against Newcastle West, Mungret St. Paul's were right with it against Newcastle West. So I think they're very, very ready. I think they're close enough to being, the team that we think they're going to be.
Yeah, that's for sure, but they have to see this one out as the kick out from McGelly gets dragged out over the sideline. So Monaleen will be hoping that we'll be eating our words here as they work it through. Everyone trying to get a touch on the ball, and the ball is fouled. And there's jostling going on there. Derek Kennedy and Jason Hassett getting to know each other. And want to be careful if Timmy McGrath is thinking of the new rules. The third man in could receive a black card, so you'd want to be careful. Joining in here, he's going for the notebook. And it's still kind of bubbling there all the while.
And this is really going in Mungret's favour, really. This is what you're supposed to do at the end of the game. You're supposed to create that niggle. You're supposed to frustrate the opposition. And they're still at it inside there. There's a lot of bodies inside there having plenty to say.
Yeah, as a Monaleen mentor, I think going to get a carte de bouille or worse here. Although he's probably just saying he's in giving the water. Lads, there's enough of it falling from the sky. You probably don't need to come in at this point. There's a yellow for the mentor, and Timmy McGrath still with a bit of paperwork. Probably difficult for him to even be scribbling in these conditions.
Yeah, that's something I never considered. How does a referee cope? Do they have
a pencil is the only order anyway.
Do they have a permanent marker in their satchel?
Pencil, I think, from my experience, is the best order, but even then, you're up against it.
Yeah.
As for the second,
have to get even rougher. The conditions are horrific.
For the second season in a row, we've had horrendous weather for our quarterfinals in Limerick. Our semi-finals were disrupted a bit too last year, and it's disappointing for everyone. There's nothing we can do about it. But for the players, you'd feel for them because they've been in so much. They want the best conditions to show their talents. And in fairness, some of them still should put their best foot forward this afternoon.
And I mentioned it earlier, Tom. Like the training, there's more niggle around midfield as well. There's the keepers out even. Look, the most of the training that these players do is either on AstroTurf or lovely surfaces in fairly decent conditions during the week, and you get to play on this on a Saturday or a Sunday. It just makes it really difficult to carry out your plans, your kickouts, all these different things.
So yellows,
throw in.
Yeah, yellow cards, or is it a black card for? Yeah, there's 3 black cards I think has been issued. I just took my eye off it. It looks like
Jack Summers,
Derek Kennedy, Jack Summers, and it's Jack McCarthy as well.
Yeah.
So 13 will play 14 for the last few minutes. Monaleen looking for a goal.
Oh, what a block!
Is it a foot block? It is. Rob Hegarty, yeah. I think from my vantage point, he just maybe put his right foot forward. Was it inside? It is, says Timmy McGrath.
We got to finish.
A lifeline for Monaleen. They now have a man up. They now have a penalty to cut it to just 3 points as we head for the final 90 seconds or so by my own match, which is maybe slightly off, but a yellow card for Hegarty for the foot block. Yeah, signalled by Timmy McGrath.
My eyesight isn't great. I didn't know if it was a leg or a hand because he was all down at the ground at the same time.
The Monaleen player was more or less dropping it to his foot, so he'd have been doing well to get a hand to it. I do agree with the referee on this occasion. I think Hegarty stuck out the right foot, and illegally you have to be a metre away if you're going to deflect it with your foot. As
big kick for O'Dane.
You still have to keep 3 up as well now with the black card. So Mungret will only have, because they're down to 13, there's a penalty taken. It's saved! O'Dane takes it, but McGilligan goes to his left, gets his hands to it, and it's out for a 45.
Kind of took a chance. It looked to me he took a chance that he was going to go to that side no matter what happened, but that's a huge moment in the game. Like, given the numerical advantage that Monaleen are going to have for the rest of the game, that would have been a key moment. Darrow Shukru from downtown.
Yeah. Has it curled too much? It has, yeah. It looked good for a moment, but the penalty has been missed, and now another opportunity kicked wide by the number 23 Darragh O'Shukru as we head for stoppage time at the end of this half. So there's confusion galore as Conor O'Lungig comes in for Mungret St. Paul's, and looks like Frank Corcoran is the number 5. He's been exceptional. He makes way. They're just killing the clock here as my own notes starting to get destroyed. So with these rules, Mungret need to keep 3 up. O'Dollig, interestingly, plants himself at the edge of the square, which he's allowed to, given the kick out. Monaleen might want to go route 1 looking for him, as they were looking for that green flag. It's carried by Taigo O'Shukru. O'Shukru hand passing it out to the far side. He slips back out to O'Dwayne, and it hits a foot on the way. Has it a second go? It's blocked.
Oh, on the line.
Yeah, Oisin Moss. I don't know if he knew much about it, but deflected off him, out for a 45. He was probably going to nestle in the bottom corner.
My God, that was crazy just to be in that position.
And Monaleen will get a second bite because the 45 not taken from the correct possession. I think your car is in trouble.
My car survived.
Yeah.
It survived. I was watching closely. But listen, it was brilliant for Moss to find himself in that position because he just
got to cover that goal.
Yeah, he knew that was the only threat that was at that time.
O'Dalig looking for the 2-pointer. O'Dalig.
That looks good.
Yeah, straight and true. It is a 2 for him, and it's back to 4 points. Clever enough play. I don't know how Mungret didn't see it coming because they did try it the first time.
I'd say they were prioritising stopping the goals, potential goals inside that line, giving away the 2-pointers. But you'll see now, if they win the kickouts from now on, it's going to be 2-pointerville from every single time the ball is kicked out.
I'm told by Martin Doherty, 4.5 more minutes of action here. So time yet from Monaleen. A man up, 13 plays 14. Kick out to midway. Mungret through Olungig, the former Limerick minor captain, gets on it. He carries it, drops it now, knocks it down the line. Darragh O'Sullivan is there. He picks it, knocks it down the line for Giltanan. They want to keep the ball up at this end.
Shane
Barry across the square.
It's
the number 18.
It's a good decision to take the score.
Knocked over the bar.
Great decision.
Liam Harrington. A crucial point, but it just injected so much pace into the attack, and eventually Harrington at the end of it.
Fresh off the bench, and to get the first possession, kick the ball over the bar, very, very well done. And that was a really, really interesting fast break there. Like so many hands on the ball for Mungret, but every time the ball was slick, the pass was slick, and got the score that they deserved there.
That's for sure. Good carrying by the youngster, the teenager Olungig, diminutive, but an absolute terrier around the place.
Long ball in.
Yeah, Monaleen looking for O'Dalig at the edge of the square.
Oh, it's just knocked away from him
away
here. I think it's Jason Hassett that just managed to get the paw on the way. That to me looked like a 45.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Tommy. It was waved wide, and I think the officials haven't changed their mind. O'Dalig protesting that it was a 45, but crucial moment there. But 5 in it now. You kind of felt they could kick two pointers, but they're going to have to do a little bit more. And O'Dalig has been reading the rule book. He's allowed inside that 20-metre line.
It's my second time seeing Monaleen playing this year, and they've had that tactic lots and lots of times that they can play that direct ball inside straight away.
If someone wins this, they could knock it straight in, but they have to win it first. Ball breaking off the hand of O'Hagan, and out for a line ball. Plenty of jostling again as protest for him on the field. Play will go on.
Great ball.
Small margins as O'Dalig gets it. He's going to come outside this arc. O'Dalig soloing, coming through on goal, hand passing out the back door. They're going for the goal.
Oh, it's a goal!
In. It's finished in.
My goodness, Jack, is it Kenny? Jack Kenny with the red boots?
I think it is, yeah. It's the corner forward, Jack Kenny, who's finished it. O'Dalig with the pass. And we are back to a 2-point game.
And there's still time on the clock.
Yeah, by my reckoning, from my maths from the officials that told me, still another 2 minutes or so to go.
And they still have the numerical advantage out midfield, so like every kick out is so important. And even when Mungret got that point, we were saying that's it. No, but it's still open, Tom. We're still here.
A 2-pointer could level it. Another green flag could win it.
They have it again.
They have it again. They're looking for another one. Here's O'Dalig. O'Dalig to level it. Off target. Didn't catch it right.
Probably too far out. Had passes inside again. His teammates are quite irate with him because there could have been 1 or 2 more passes. The 2-pointer could have been an awful lot easier.
Yeah, O'Din was one of those looking for it. Ronan McGilligan trots out with his tee, and with the O'Neill's football, where is this one going to go? Difficult conditions for a goalkeeper to be kicking into. Somehow reaches halfway, but Larkin lines is beneath it, spills it, and then knocks it on to the number 23, O'Shukru. Inside, everyone looking for everything from the referee. Shane Dolan on it here. They work it back to O'Din. He's more or less out on his feet for the last few moments, but Dolan will have get it on from here out to O'Dalig, who is picking up Donegal. O'Dalig, he has time and space. O'Dalig, lofted hand pass, drops it short. It was a speculative effort from there. Ball is knocked out over for a wide ball. And O'Dalig's decision making there, just letting him down. It was I could see what he was trying, but he's a long way out, even with the wind, to do that.
Yeah, look, it is your decision making at the end of the game. It's really up for
tired minds and tired bodies.
Yeah, you got to do the right thing at the right time. Possibly 1 minute left in the game. 1 minute. The referee's looking at his watch fairly regularly, which means he might be close to blowing it. But again, because of the numerical advantage, we should see a Monaleen win for this kick out.
Monaleen white jerseys everywhere beneath it. Again, McGilligan jets it up to around halfway. Mungret underneath it. Mungret looking for it, but it's a white jersey, I think, that has it. Line ball for Mungret St. Paul's. And O'Dwyn thought it was his. He's kicked it away. There's a dispute aplenty over this. Mungret's attack going into position. And Martin Doherty has signalled the line ball is going in favour of Mungret St. Paul's. He's not for moving. And frustration growing in the Monaleen ranks.
They still have to get the pass away. We're probably going to go long. Everybody's picked up tightly.
Can they find the blue jersey with it? Lofted into the air, spinning, spinning, spinning. Who's going to get on it? There is the full-time whistle. Mungret St. Paul's are the victors. Just 2 points in it in the end. Kitchen sink thrown at them by Monaleen. And the win is for Mungret St. Paul's. They're into a county semi-final. Tommy, we have rarely had a game as enthralling as that all year, have we?
Utterly frantic there at the end, and look, Monaleen even had chances to take that game to extra time if they really, if they'd made better decisions from a shooting point of view on that last 5 or 6 minutes. But I think overall, the 60 minutes, I think Mungret St. Paul's probably showed a little bit more. To me, they look like a side that can go toe to toe with the teams that are winning it regularly. Adair, Newcastle West, and they've shown that earlier on the championship, as I said previously. They've got a strong panel. They use their bench very, very well. So fair play to them. A brilliant game, brilliant game plan. It was always going to be frantic there at the end when the game was anyway close at all, but I think they finished the game out nicely. On the other side of it then, Monaleen, again, you'd feel like they've after making progress this year, but progress is measured in getting to semi-finals and so on as well, and they're a club with a lot of footballing history and they would expect to get to semi-finals and finals. But I think, again, the future is bright for them. And if I'm looking through the panel right there's so many of those guys that are still young guys, early 20s, and I think we'll see Monaleen being a powerhouse over the next few weeks as well, or next few years as well. So very, very interesting tie. Great watch. I hope those who watched it on the box at home enjoyed it really much as well, because
good value
it was great value for money. I mean, it mightn't have been the classic, mightn't have been Croke Park, Cork versus Kerry, or Kerry versus Dublin, or whatever it might be, but it definitely was entertaining, and looking forward to see what the rest of the championship wins, Tom.
Yeah, so it's a dare for Mungret in the semi-final. Those will be with us next weekend. We'll have details of those as the week unfolds. I have one more job for you, Tommy, before you make the dash for your car and get in for a bit of shelter. We have our Mike O'Connell menswear man of the match. Mungret St. Paul's. Mike is a Mungret St. Paul's man himself, so I'm sure he'll be delighted with the victory. But also, it's a Mungret St. Paul's man you're going for.
It is indeed, yeah. I think there was many. I thought Oisin was absolutely fantastic, but I think Frank Corcoran was brilliant there in the first half in particular, getting on the scoreboard, just bits and pieces, winning breaks time after time, and his ability to attack as well as defend. He's rugged, he's tough. I think he just had the most fantastic game. So Frank Corcoran for me is man of the match.
Yeah, Frank Corcoran is your Michael Conlon menswear man of the match. We'll try and catch a word with him in a moment. Tommy, thanks for your company. Thanks to everyone here in Ballybrown GA. We will have the highlights momentarily, and we'll try and catch a word from the Mungret camp in just a few short minutes. Okay, you're very welcome back to Clorina here, where I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the Michael Conn Windsor man of the match, Frank Corcoran. Frank, I'm a bit wet. I wasn't even out in it. Tell me first of all about what it means for Mungret now to be back in a semi-final of the Limerick Senior Football Championship.
I mean, at the start of the year, you couldn't ask for much more. It's exactly what we wanted. They're a bit of a cross-city rivals now for us. Like, it's a little bit sweeter getting it against them. We know a lot of the lads inside with Limerick and everything. It means, like, if you saw the reaction on the sideline, it means absolutely everything to us. We want to go and play there now next week and give it our all.
Yeah, talk to me about the conditions, because it's tough underfoot here, just standing here. What was it like to play in?
Yeah, with this breeze going straight down the field, like running up this way, pitch is a bit soft, it just takes it out of the legs, but we've been training hard all year. You have that bit to go, and especially when it's a quarter-final, like knockout, it's do or die. You'll get there if you have to.
Yeah. You obviously got a good lead in that first half, playing down with the breeze. You got a couple of scores early in the second half. Monaleen came back, and again you picked off 1 or 2 points where you worked the ball very close. Very important scores, as it turned out to be. When you only win by 2, I think you got maybe 4 or 5 points against that breeze, and that was really the difference here this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't just score in one half. You have to. Even though we had that lead, we knew they were coming back. We knew they would want it, but we just had to want it more.
Yeah. What about your goalkeeper? Come up with a save. I think Oisin Moss-Clear won off the line. So he had a bit of luck, he had a bit of skill, but you need big players from or big moments from big players to win these games.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Ronan's been in with Limerick all year. You know, I'm sure Mal had him training hard. Like, he's been stopping those in training. So you come to nearly expect him to save that.
Yeah, so semi-final, you were there last year in tough conditions as well against Father Cases, but it's the champions now up next in Adair. So I suppose it's another big test, but that's why you start at the championship. Start at the very start of the championship. You want to be playing the best, and no better chance next week than when you face Adair.
Exactly, you have to beat everyone, no matter they're champions. You have to beat everyone if you want to win this competition.
Yeah, Frank, you are the Michael Conn Windsor man of the match. Congratulations, and enjoy the victory, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, perfect.
For expert advice and consultancy on lifts and escalators, trust Horgan's Lifts and Escalator Consultants, based in Mungret. Providing reliable, professional service you can depend on. Call 086 260 4317 or email john@horgans.net. Horgan's Lifts and Escalator Consultants, lifting standards higher.
For over 50 years, PFL Floor Coverings has Ireland's one-stop shop for all your flooring needs. From carpets to vinyl and laminate, we're proud to be the exclusive suppliers of Cortec floors in Ireland. Call our Limerick HQ on 061 227 100. PFL Floor Coverings, quality you can stand on.
At Hogan Dowling McNamara Solicitors Limerick, we take a hands-on, partner-led approach, delivering expert, transparent and cost-effective legal solutions. Call 061 501 100 or email info@hdm.ie. HDM Solicitors. Legally speaking, we're different.
Okay. Okay, you're very well.
We just had to want it more.
But I say, I think Oisin must clear one off the line. So he had a bit of luck, he had a bit of skill, but need you need big players from or big moments from big players to win these games.
Yeah, exactly. What all year,